When I first heard of Vision Boys was when I first joined my real estate brokerage. They have this event, like have agents get together in the every year, beginning of the year, to do vision board. I couldn't understand what that is in the beginning. I said, why you guys cut out so many magazines and pieces and put it together? What?
This is the Transparency Podcast Show from Long Beach, California, where we bring you life transformation stories, business, investment, personal development, entertainment, and more.
Welcome back to Transparency Podcast Show. I'm your host, Shelbe Chang.
That's another thing I learned doing business. I've said I do business. My first business was I sold aftermarket parts, automotive aftermarket parts.
Interesting.
And on one hand, I was doing outstanding. But on the other hand, I was totally sucking wind. I didn't understand the full ramifications of the aftermarket part for automotive parts and stuff. In that most people still want to see or know you have a brick and mortar.
How long ago was this? Recently?
It's a little over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Most people still want to know and see that you're an automotive company. Yeah. You have a root somewhere. You know, they want to know you have a brick and mortar. So the thing I learned was, unless you're going to specialize like a parts store that just does generic parts, you know, you're still going to have a brick and mortar, but that's mostly for storage. You know, you can't be solely online. And that's what I was trying to do at first, be solely online. And it's you really can't with that type of thing. Well, because you're still going to have, even if you're just doing it out of your garage, you're still going to have someplace.
Yeah, I think, well, I have to applaud you for trying, because a lot of people, as you know, they thought about it, thinking about it, but never, pushed themselves to do it.
I met a lot of great people.
So what you just said is very good. Actually, to be honest, you were doing it kind of ahead of the time, because 10 years ago, I understand, 10 years ago, small items can be shipped online, smaller size, but parts is big, auto part is bigger.
Yeah, I had little parts and I had big parts.
But 10 years later today, it will work.
Now today,
that's why I say
I could do that exact same setup today and make it work, because every single one of those companies would drop ship for me.
Exactly. So, because
I'm still bringing business to the thing, and this difference, like, I was at car shows. I had a car. I had my own car set up with done all my parts, everything. You could, if you walked around my car and got in the car, you would find every part I sold, every aftermarket item, every power added item, every cosmetic item, and it went. The car moved. I took it to shop car shows with drag strips and ran it. So I had people, and I've always been good with talking to people, especially about something I'm motivated with.
Okay, that's good.
And that's another thing. It's hard to do. But if it's something you're motivated with, like you enjoy, man, you can talk to people all day. And I found a lot of people that was willing to work with me, but I didn't have that brick and mortar.
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I didn't have that brick and mortar, and I needed that brick and mortar, and I didn't understand how important that was.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Like I said, at least you try and you learn, you fail. And then let's say if you want to do that again today, and it can be done online. See, you already said it can be done in dropship. See?
Yeah, it can be done online now, but if I did it now, I would probably do the brick and mortar still. So that way I could add a little more of my own spin to it. But you could do it on.
So what I was trying to point out is you tried it 10 years ago. So you, again, back to the roadmap, you got from here to there, and then somehow you stop. But if you're going to finish your trip, you don't have to start from here. You see?
No.
You know what I
I
mean?
understand a lot more
So
about.
what I'm trying to tell the audience or listener
Oh,
is that like
I forgot.
if you try to try to start something, just start, and then you're gonna hit walls or obstacles, and then when you
Yes.
start fresh again, then you don't have to start from scratch. A lot of people say you have to start
Yes.
over, but actually not really.
And
Yeah.
when it comes to that, it's the biggest part is, to be honest, I could have worked it back around and gotten a brick and mortar, but at the time I saw that as such a huge financial investment. And I knew I was really starting to see some of the marketing angles and issues that I hadn't addressed as far as marketing myself outside of just me face to face. You know, I'm marketing myself outside of face to face, and you know, really understanding the underlying power demographic of who's buying what, where, when, what time of year are the most majority of sales for these types of items being done, stuff like that.
Yeah, so you bring like 3 points that I can kind of share with you and with everybody. So first of all, you talk about selling and marketing, and you talk about face to face 10 years ago. So in today, 10 years later, why we do a lot of video, why my editing skill is a hot career right now is because, see, what we're doing podcasts. One podcast, I can post 10 channels, 10 platforms, and I can speak to how many people, you know, you can imagine. So I don't need to go me, Thomas, face to face and spend 2 hours on it, and I only talk to one person. But now I'm sitting here recording this show for, let's say, an hour, and I can reach thousands.
Yes.
See? So that's the power of marketing today with videos.
Yeah, it's a really thing, because 10 years ago, my marketing, I could have put stuff online, but it's still fairly new 10 years ago, but it's still expensive for the average person or the business owner to invest in.
So now this is the second point for you. So in today, 10 years ago, it's like that, but 10 years later, today we have a lot of platform that you can do crowdfunding. So if you have a good idea, guess what? My movie, I made it through crowdfunding. You know, it's a low budget movie, of course, but I do crowdfunding online. I do in person. I do events to get funds. So in today's world, we have a lot of websites have that, like startup. Angel
I've
Fund,
been looking into,
or
I've
Angel
been looking
Fund,
into a couple of them.
and then, or if you want to go old school, you can go to grant or small business loans, something like that.
One of the things I'm doing now is my next goal is 2 types of businesses. So my next goal is the business model setups for financing right now. To get all the red tape out of the way and start building so that what I really want to do can take off. But at the same time, I'm looking at Kickstarter, startups, engine startup, Indiegogo. That's just to name a few. I'm looking at stuff like that, and then once I have developed a lot of information from filling out those and getting that started, start filling out government grants, because the government, a lot of people don't think so, but the government wants you to start a business.
Yes, that's correct, because they will give you incentive, because a lot of people don't understand, especially for tax advantage. I don't want to get into that because I'm not CPA. But I was trying to say earlier is financial expense. A lot of people which had a dream, like you say, want to start a business, but what stopped them is the financial, the money upfront. I feel that way too. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that way, but I started to learn how to turn my mind around, because let's say I'm recording this episode I say I spend $100, for example, and it can be expensive for other people, but I look around and think about what's my ROI?
Yeah, what's your
ROI,
return on
yes,
investment?
and how long can I make it back? And I went to this ink file, which they will take care of your your business name, registrations, and all that. And they also have a link with the tax advisors.
That's
So
not the host place I was telling you about.
no, it's an ink file, INC file. Yeah, so you can look at. So back,
Just what I've been looking for. I will be
Yeah,
hitting you
see,
up
that's why I
later for
told you.
that.
Yeah. So and
Oh, is that
and
what
then-
you mean? You said you had some more information, but
Yeah.
you.
So back so
okay.
back to what you were saying, like financial or capital, raise capitals. So again, you don't have to worry about the expense as long as you plan ahead and where you want to go. Just like everything business people do is to start and then one step.
Yes.
So what I was doing, I can share this with you. About pulling your idea out from your mind instead of thinking, or overthinking, is write it down.
Yes.
That's why I start journaling. Journaling is not talk about how I feel today, how I feel, what sucks. It's draw down my ideas on paper. And what does that does, because sometimes our life is so busy, we have phones, and next thing you know, I forgot what my idea is, right? But when you write it down or even record it on the phone or write it down, type it in the notes section, you will have it visually. And then when you do that, you kind of have, put your imagination into reality. And what I also do is a vision board. Vision board, when I first heard of vision board was when I first joined my real estate brokerage. They have this event, like have agents get together in every year, beginning of the year, to do vision board. I couldn't understand what that is in the beginning. I said, why you guys cut out so many magazines and pieces and put it together? What?
Yeah.
But then the time that I really understand vision board is I was living elsewhere, renting a room, and then situation got really, really bad. Okay, so when I was journaling, I say, I'm gonna set my goal. I am going to move out of here December 31st, 2020. Okay, so I just put it away, and guess what? I did move out that exact day. Achieve is one thing, and the vision board that helps me is I use it digitally. I print it out, I tip it on the wall. So every morning when I wake up, I can see it. Kind of remind me, okay, I gotta start podcasting. I gotta start a YouTube channel.
And even if you don't look directly at it, our brains still see all the stuff in the room, and you've got it up there, and hey, those are my goals. I need to be hitting those points. Yes. They're still there. And this is where it comes down, the difference between why a vision board works 1,000 times better than like I used to use my reminders app on my phone or something like that. People write stuff down on a calendar or this, these are the old school ways. People write stuff down, they put it, and then what do we do with it? We put it away. Yeah. We put it out of sight. Like my reminder thing, it's in the background of my phone. Out of sight, out of mind. You're exactly right. When you put it out of sight, it's out of mind. But the reason I think vision boards really work, and this will really help a lot of people, is because you put it all together, you throw it up on the wall. Not all of these things are going to happen in a year. And you know what? You can change them out whenever you feel like it. You can change them out. I do one each year. Yeah. And then the one that I didn't achieve on that previous year, I put it back on again. I would say that's the best way to do it. And then also you're going to see some of that stuff starting to come true. Yeah. And then another thing that I want to share related to vision board is because when I shoot my movies, right? I'm a director. I also an actor, and writer.
So when I write those scripts, the book that you asked me, oh, you have a book on Amazon. It's a screenplay. So I wrote those. When I write it, I have a vision in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that vision will later I can use it and put it into reality when I shoot the movie. That I want this angle on Thomas. I want this angle on Thomas and this and that. And then as an actor at that time, I didn't have any acting training, to be honest. But then I kind of play in my mind. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna act this way. I'm gonna have tear at this point. I already kind of plan every little thing in my mind, and then I put it. Once I put it out, then it'll become reality. So this just share my little personal experience that a lot of time people think a lot of things and want to do, but they don't do, and they just wandering around in their mind.
Yeah. I had to start, had to write down ideas about stuff.
Yeah.
I have ideas all the time.
Yeah, so you should.
I'm one of those people, like, I'll be doing something and I'm like, I need to start writing this stuff down. Something you thought was a great idea at one point, and then later on you come back to it and you're like,
it can be,
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, just like when I grow up, I tell myself, I don't want to be a business person. Business owner is so boring.
The same way.
I want to thank you for coming to the show today because we kind of ran out of time. Any of audience or listener who has any idea for our show, please leave a comment or email us. So thank you everyone for watching, and please support us. Subscribe, likes, share, and comments, and share the ideas that you might have for our show. Alrighty. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.